to show everybody. I think it's pretty damn interesting.
Okay.
I'll let you introduce it and all that. Go ahead.
Okay, so what we're going to talk about now is with the bullet fragment. I believe it was item FL. That was the one that everyone's heard about that they found. Well, I think there was an FL that was found early, but then there was this FL that was found later. It's the whole shell game with their numbering system. So the one that was found after the so-called confession from Brendan, that's the one that was tested, and it got the negative control that was run with it was contaminated with Sherry Culhane's profile. And she decided, well, I don't have any more sample. I used it all up. I can't rerun it. So I'm going to deviate from protocol and not call it inconclusive because of the contamination. I'm going to go and report it anyway.
Right.
And so that's the part that we know. The part that we don't always know, and I'll switch to the screen share there. Okay, so we can see this here, and we can see my mouse.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we have here, where my mouse is the the contamination log, and this was entered into evidence during Stephen Avery's trial. The date here we have is 4/24/06. That's April 24th, 2006. So, a few weeks after Brendan's confession, so-called.
Right. 3 weeks, a little over 3 weeks after.
Right? Yeah. So then we have the next thing is her initials. And then the next column over, from that we have, it says analyst profile found in MC12. The MC stands for manipulation control. Right. And I guess that's another way of saying their negative control.
Right.
Then we have the next column over, M05-2467. That's the case number for the murder investigation, and it says that last column is other comments that they made, what they did to deal with the situation. So she's claimed that she cleaned the area, which is part of their protocol, and then it says no sample to re-extract, and then under that reported profile.
Right.
So we know this is the one that she was talking about.
Right. This is the event that matches the testing of that bullet. That description matches what happened with item FL, right?
Yeah.
But look at the date, folks. 4/24.
Okay. Right? Now the magic is going to start here in a second. So when this contamination happens, because Sherry wanted to report this anyway, she had to fill out a deviation request form that went to her superiors. It was supposed to go to 2 of her superiors. Only one of them actually signed off on it. And so the deviation request form is something that would happen after the contamination event. However, if we look at the deviation request form, Sherry Culhane, we'll look at that date, 4/10/06. That's 2 weeks before the contamination happened.
Right.
She actually, according to this, she requested the deviation 2 weeks before she had the contamination, which necessitated the deviation.
Asking for the deviation 2 weeks early.
The analogy I use is this is like going and paying off your speeding ticket 2 weeks before you got caught in the speed trap.
Right.
It doesn't make sense at all.
Right.
Now, some people might say, well, that's just a typo. We see those every now and then in this case, don't we?
Yeah, we hear that word thrown around
Yeah.
a lot to explain.
And just to show you that this is the same one here, if you look at this line where my mouse is, they're talking about the same thing, the bullet fragments,
Yes,
FL.
K and FL, right?
Yep. And the
MC12.
same thing, MC12.
And look at that number, case number up there, folks.
Yep.
M052467.
So we know this is the exact situation that they're referring to on the other page. Now, of course, typos happen, but how often do they happen when the person signing off on it 3 days later also makes a righto? Is that what you call it? A typo that's handwritten?
Yeah.
I don't know. There may not be a word for this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
clearly,
she
if you
signed
wanna
off
try to say
on
one's
it.
a typo, you got to say the other's a typo. So it starts to get pretty damn ridiculous when you get to that point. So
Yeah. So according to her, well, according to the person who signed off on it, they signed off on it on April 13th, 2006, which is still, 2 weeks less 3 days before the actual contamination event happened.
right.
Now, I don't know about you, but I find this a bit odd.
I totally find this very odd. I mean, yeah. I mean, that event clearly is logged as in 424, and then here's this thing being asked for on 2 weeks previous, 2 weeks, 3 days previous. Yeah. It's definitely very odd. I mean,
And if you want to check these yourself, both of these documents are on StephenAveryCase.org.
Yep, you guys can find these documents over
they're in
the website.
They're under the trial exhibit numbers or the. Okay, I'm trying to get back to.
I want you to post these
your preface.
documents in Discord as well, so that we can pin them.
Yeah, I can do that.
What would be the best room for it? There should be a room for the bullet. There should be a bullet room. So let's put it there, and then we'll pin it there, because I think those two documents together are highly interesting.
Is there a room just for typos?
Dude, if we go with everything the guilters say are typos, everything would be in that room. I mean, you wouldn't have any other rooms. Anyways,
you'd only need the one room. I mean, that's efficiency. Okay, so that was my little story that I found very recently, and I actually have to thank a guilter because he kept arguing with me to read these things, and that's when I found this. And I'm like, oh,
right.
Thank you. So, a little shout out to Solo and the Wookiee.
Solo and the Wookiee, I like it. It's a good name, even if I don't agree with him.
You know what? Peter Mayhew died today. He's the guy that played Chewbacca.
Oh wow, no, oh man.
Yeah, the big guy's gone.
That's a bummer. Love Chewie.
Yeah.
I actually love the new Solo movie too, man. That thing's pretty good.
I haven't seen that one yet.
You haven't? Oh, dude, it's on Netflix, dude. Check it out. It's good. I enjoy it. I've watched it a couple times. It explains the whole bit about the Kessel Run and him and Lando, and oh man, it's cool. It's really cool, and it's well done. It's a lot of adventure. It keeps you, kind of on the edge of your seat a bit. It's kind of cool. So.
Yeah, I'm imagining it's must-see TV for anyone who just enjoys being in the Star Wars universe. And
I'm a bit of
the more they know, the better. It's another thing that another few Lego sets that they can buy and stuff like that.
Hey, dude, are you making fun of me?
What?
Because I got my little nano blocks here from when I went to Australia. See that? Oh, I got you locked in right now. No, I do actually. I'm into sci-fi. I dig it. I totally.
Well,
dig it. And then I got my little nano block koala that I got while I was in Australia.
Oh, nice.
I'm just messing with you, brother. No, but no, it is good though. I mean, I swear, my brother's not into sci-fi either, but he liked it too. He thought it was fun because he likes the Star Wars movies, and he just, yeah. Another one that was good too was what's it called? Rogue One.
Rogue One, yeah,
Rogue One
was fantastic.
Fantastic, right? Oh my god, that one was really good.
Uh,
Especially the end with Vader. You know that.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was crazy.
That was awesome how they drew it in, and I think that that episode was a very good prequel that fits right into the to episode 4.
Yeah.
It wasn't cheesy or anything. Well, it didn't have so much cheese as the other trilogy that we won't talk too much about.
The latest one, yeah, it's kind of.
But I gotta tell you, I started getting choked up when I was realizing none of these people are gonna live.
Right.
Like, this is the only movie I'm gonna see them in. Like, I better deal with that right now. I don't have 2 more movies to, grow with them. This is it.
Right. Yeah.
You don't.
I thought it was cool just watching the Rebel fleet like come in, and it reminded me, at the battle at the end of it with the space battle and stuff, reminded me a bit of Battlestar Galactica, which I always liked, the new one.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
I just liked it, the way the ships all flew in, and then there was the big old fight where I just dug it. I just thought that movie was so well done. It was just very well done, I think.
It was.
So anyway, we've obviously gotten off topic, and we're talking about Star Wars now. So, but that doesn't take away from how very cool the information that Rayxor brought to us tonight was. That is absolutely phenomenal to see a request for a deviation that wouldn't be needed until 2 weeks and 3 days later. That's awesome. So thank you very much for bringing that. Everybody's like still going like, what the hell? So.
Yeah, so someone messaged me and said, "Hey, Scooby can't go on tonight. Why don't you go on and you can talk a bit about the DNA?" And I was like, "Yeah, I suppose I could." And I thought, wait, that thing that I can bust that open now. I just sort of, I did a lot of looking and I couldn't figure out any reason why this should have taken place with the dates that it did. And it's like, yeah, it looks pretty solid. It's, I guess I'm ready to.
Awesome. Hey, I'm glad you chose to unveil it here. I'll tell you what, it's an awesome find. It's awesome. That's truly awesome. So like I said, we're gonna get that pinned somewhere in Discord where where it's easy to find, because
I dropped one of them and I'll just drop the other document right now.
In fact, I may even pull the end of this. I may screen capture it and upload it as a video just by itself for people to see.
Okay, that might be helpful because the contamination log is, I think it's 23 pages, so it's kind of hard to find. I'll add a little note so that people know where to look for it too.
Okay, cool. All right, so folks, let's see what we got going on in the chat here before we go. Let's see. Paper trail room. Right, maybe let's see. Prices. The banners. So amazing works with Sherry Culhane, predicting she would need a deviation days before she did the test. Weeks before, J-Jax, weeks. But wow, what an interesting night. Thank you so much, Rayxor, for coming here and talking about this stuff with us. Obviously, it's probably very beneficial to have yours and then Scooby's kind of takes on this. It's going to continue to inform the conversation and the determinations, I think, here. So thank you for being on. Thank you for showing us your little special little treat tonight. That was awesome. So thank you.
Sure. Thanks for having me on such short notice without really knowing what I was going to do.